All right, let's get one thing straight. When you picture a salamander, where is it? Where do you usually picture it? On the forest floor, right? Well, although most salamanders aren't arboreal, the Mombacho salamander is primarily arboreal. I say primarily. They are sometimes found on the leaf litter when times are tight in terms of their food. Here's the thing though. Similarly to a lot of lizards, Mombacho salamanders drop their tails. They drop their tails once, regenerate it, and then never drop it again. Mostly because they can't. It was found that in the wild, populations with their tails dropped are never found foraging on the forest floor. Now, it's speculated, and this is probably accurate since I can't really imagine any other reasoning for this being an occurrence, that the populations who dropped their tails were thereby afraid of going back on the ground after an encounter with a predator. Now that's funny, right? You'd think that if this was such a consistent occurrence that the memory of this would be dropped down to generations and they just, in the future of being salamanders, just wouldn't return to the leaf litter ever again. But I think the reason ground foraging is still done is because, well, that's where all the food is. You're not going to find worms in the trees, and worms are a major source of food for the Mombacho salamanders. Think of it like this. The tail's like a second life. They get one freebie when it comes to predator encounters, and then they'll stay in the trees forever afterwards. So before that encounter happens, they can gamble all they want on the floor, and with the reward being an all-you-can-eat buffet of bugs. If you're curious on the details, the currently theorized primary predator of Mombacho salamanders are the white-nosed coati and the royal ground snake. That last one we have actual verification on, since a royal ground snake was actually found with a partially digested Bolitoglosso guaramacalensis on the inside. Sorry, I haven't told you their scientific name yet. It's not Bolitoglossus guaramacalensis though, but it is the same genus. Mombacho salamanders are also known as Bolitoglossus mombachoensis, and locally they're known as Salamandra de Mombacho. Mombacho, by the way, is the name of the mountain that they live on. Similarly to that chameleon from the Mbarica mountain that we covered not too long ago, these guys are primarily native to the tippity top of the Mombacho mountain in Granada. No, not Granada, that's an island. Granada, which is a city in Venezuela. Venezuela, by the way, is the 31st rainiest country in the world, but they do also have quite the diverse climate, especially in cloud forests like these. As a result, throughout the year they'll have quite varying temperatures, and those varying temperatures impact the availability of many insects found on Mombacho. It's been found that throughout the ever-changing seasons, the Mombacho salamander will gravitate more towards the top or the bottom of trees in the forest that they are native to, depending on both the humidity levels and what species of both plants to hide in and insects to eat are most readily available. During July to September, when it's most humid, they'll be climbing to the tallest heights that they can. During February to April, when it's the driest, they stay on the lower parts. This specific habit of them, as you can probably imagine, has been greatly affected by climate change, resulting in less predictable fluctuations in both temperature and their behaviors. It's also no help that in the hotter and more humid months, there have been increased hurricanes and stronger winds. But that's not all when it comes to what makes this species vulnerable. All over Granada, you have many small-scale plantations, mostly small-scale coffee plantations, which interfere with both the available space to forage and the insect population, since coffee is a natural insecticide. But that's not all. There's also chytridiomycosis. Okay. Chytridiomycosis, if you haven't seen my last video, is a fungal disease that affects 2% of amphibian species, and it looks like our Mombacho salamander is one of those 2% amphibians. But it's okay, because although they're judged as vulnerable by the IUCN, their population is actually quite stable. And you know what? They share a genus with many, many other species that are just like them, and quite a few of them are doing quite well in the wild. That genus is, of course, Bolitoglossa. More like Bonitoglossa, because they're so pretty. That's not a joke. I mean, that is where half the name comes from, specifically the Latinized version of the Spanish word bonito, meaning pretty. But it's not just their prettiness that ties all of Bolitoglossa together. They also have the tail thing, where they drop their tails. They usually also have either webbed, elongated, or webbed and elongated fingers, which is great for climbing trees. In the case of Mombacho salamanders, they have stubby fingers with webbing. But there's one thing that binds them all together, aside from what I just said. Other than the name of Bolitoglossa, there's also the genus's common name, which, can you guess what it is? They're called mushroom-tongued salamanders. They're specifically called this because of their ability to, similarly to a chameleon, shoot out their tongue that's also happens to be shaped like a mushroom. I'll be real, when I was first looking into them, I thought they had like a literal mushroom tongue. They're called mushroom-tongued salamanders. I thought it was like a symbiotic relationship that they had with some kind of fungus species. You know, like kind of like that one newt species, I think it's a newt, that has like a symbiotic relationship with an algae that lives in their lungs and helps them photosynthesize. That'll be a future video, I think. But for now, that's the Mombacho salamander. You like them? I like them quite a lot. And they're native to Venezuela. And shout out to Venezuela, who, by the way, fun fact, contains 11% of the world's cloud forests. All right, that'll be it from me for today. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.